All right, good to see everybody. Hope you're having a wonderful Saturday. The heater has been turned on officially, unofficially. Summer starts today. Happy summer.
Longest day of the year.
Today's the big one. Shout out to my dad. Happy birthday yesterday to my Pat. Big 86-year-old. Doing good.
WFMD sky scan forecast for Frederick County and surrounding areas. Good morning, everyone. Mostly sunny for today. Hot near 90.
Oh, yeah. Gonna get juicy. You ready? Get your headphones on.
More sunshine, heat, humidity, Monday,
All right.
95 to 100. Or the same Tuesday, sunny, hot, 95 to 100.
Okay.
All right.
The weather is brought to you by PJ's Roofing. When it comes to your roof, they've got you covered. Visit pjsroofing.com.
This is your Frederick Real Estate Update, a conversation about the regional real estate market with tips for buyers and sellers. Your host, RE/MAX Results, Derek Eager, and Presidential Bank Mortgages.
Hey, folks, welcome to your Frederick Real Estate Update. I am Darren Ahern with RE/MAX Results, bringing you nearly 22 years experience in the Maryland, PA, and all over the country. I can get you good people, referrals, partners to help you out in the real estate world. And I also have with me the man from Presidential Bank Mortgage, Mr.
Terry Kernan.
How we doing?
Great. How are you?
Beautiful day. Happy summer, everybody.
Longest day of the year.
Longest
Enjoy
day.
it while you can.
That's right. After this, it goes downhill. But what does not go downhill, Terry, is the heater got turned on. It is summertime. We are going to almost hit 100 degrees, I heard on Monday there. And get ready. It's going to let us know the summertime fun is here. The good news is it's not raining.
Yes, that is the good news.
We had enough rain. It's going to dry up now and everything's going to bloom and it's going to be good. So, all right, we're going to jump right into it. Last week, everybody, I hope you had tuned in. If you didn't, you can go back on WFMD.com in the drop-down menu under your Frederick Real Estate Update on the bottom and go to the last program, which was Mr. Kenny McLean, the awesome appraiser here from Six Associates, McLean Associates, and all that good stuff. And Frederick, been here forever doing 19 years he's been in this, and he shared a lot of good stuff. And his number is 301-694-5627. So if you would like to get a question answered by Kenny with appraisal stuff about your home, and you want to get maybe a pre-sale appraisal, which can be good in some cases, give him a call at 301-694-5627. It's always awesome a couple times a year having him on to give us the market updates of what is happening midway through the year. So, all right, Terry, let's get into numbers. Woo! Stay seating for this one. Can you believe it? Last week, we talked it. We had 2 weeks now. We've been over 500 homes for sale in the area in Frederick County. And today, as I got into my office and I took a peek and a gander at the numbers, guess what it said for active homes?
558. Just a lucky guess.
Just a lucky guess. 558.
That's amazing. That's great.
Yeah. What do you think of them apples?
I think it's great. I think it's good for the market. And I think it's going to bring more people off the fence because they're saying, hey, there is more stuff out there.
Yep, I know. A lot of my buyers,
it's great.
My buyers are excited because instead of getting 2 homes, 3 homes, 5 homes, 6 homes a week to choose from, they're getting like 10 or 12. And so it's definitely making a difference on what it was 2 years ago when there was nothing for sale, or 3 years ago.
Yeah, and for a seller to say, oh, geez, more stuff's coming on the market. I got more competition now. That's the wrong attitude to take.
Yeah.
The right attitude in my book is, if I'm a seller, is that's great that the numbers are going up. That's great that there's more competition. My house is going to sell.
Mm-hmm.
It is going to sell, but that's going to bring more on the market, will bring more people off the fence, will bring more people back out looking at homes. So I think it's a good thing for sellers and buyers.
Definitely. All right, coming soon, 86 of those resales, 447 resale homes, 27 median and 44 average days on the market. So that has ticked up just a tiny bit. Median price, $545 with an average of $618, holding pretty steady, just a hair up. Resales, single families, 279 of those with a median day on market, 29 and an average of 48, $650 median price, and 717 average. Woo! All right, resales, townhouse, condo types, 128 of those are for sale with a median, 24 days average time, 35, 474 median price, and a 483 average. New construction, 112 are for sale, 67 are single family homes with a median price of 730 and an average price of 803, holding very steady. 36 townhouses with 500,000, right? Again, steady, steady, steady Eddie. Nothing's really moving a lot in any direction right now. Still being like that. Under contracts, 463. Resales, 348 with an average time, a median price time of 13 days, 31 average, 520 median price, and 571 average. New construction under contract, 115 homes being built right now under contract. Single family homes, 57 of them at a median price of 787 and an average of 938, which is that weird number, elevated a little bit. And townhouses, 221 of those, median price 600 and average 655. Sold in the last 30 days, 363. Resales, 338 of those with a 21-day average and a 536 average price. Single family homes, 206 of those have sold in the resale in the last 30 days. 22-day average on the market, 607 average, and 104 townhouse condos, 19 days and 436 average price. New builds sold in the last 30 days. Came up a little, Terry. 25 of those, almost one a day again. And 14 single-family homes at a 757 price, a little bit below what we've been seeing. 9, this was surprising to me. We only had 9 townhouse condos, brand new ones, sold in the last 30 days with an average price of 472. Yeah,
That's
list
a
to
low
price.
number.
List to price ratio went down.
I was going to just say that.
What is it?
Well, let me look at my cheat sheet. 99.1, so it has gone down.
Yeah, it's gone down a little bit. So here's the big one. I haven't done this in a while. People have been asking me withdrawals, expireds, like who's not selling? Wow. Terry, I was surprised. In the last 30 days, we have had 99 properties withdrawn from the market or expired because they didn't sell. That's a little bit higher than I was expecting.
Yeah, what that number is usually like around 40. Right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's
40 or
well
50.
over double
Mhm.
what the market is usually. So
I don't know.
What do you think that is?
Sellers testing the market, seeing if they can still get above the market or something, maybe. I don't know. The ones that expired, though,
But it's not like we're in the winter market.
no.
It's not like it's Christmas in
Uh-uh.
2 weeks.
No, not at all. That is a little surprising. But the big thing is how many of those properties, and it's hard to know unless you specifically go through each address to see it come back as an active or so. How many of those properties out of that 99 in the last 30 days will actually come back into the market again with something changed? It could be something conditionally. They didn't put it temporary off, or they changed agents and they, think it's the agent's fault, which it's the market if you don't sell 9 out of 10 times. But how many of those, the 99 of those, will come back into the market from the withdrawal expired status? I would probably guess maybe 30 to 40% of them. 30 or 40 of those homes will regurgitate itself and come back into the market. One thing to note, Terry, that's really important is the fact that we have seen almost 20 to 25% of properties go under contract. And I just saw one this morning that I was keeping an eye on for one of my buyers. For my seller that's selling in Ballinger Creek Run. And there was a home there that went under contract, and it had been under contract pending for like 2 or 3 weeks. And then all of a sudden yesterday, it comes back as active and it says it fell through, no fault of the seller, right?
Of course.
So the number of active homes that's presently for sale, some of those in that number have already been under contract, and buyers' financing fell through or something went awry to where that home is now back into the market for sale again, where it was just previously pending in the last few days, the last week, whatever. So that's always interesting. That's a hard one to track, but I would probably say if 20 to 25% of properties are falling through, 99% of the sellers are putting that back as active and trying to get another offer. So,
and this brings up a point that, in a hot market where you're getting multiple offers, and we're not really in that market, yes, for the right house, you're going to see multiple offers, but a lot of the offers that I see coming in are not multiple offers. A lot of the contracts we're getting are not multiple offers. Okay. So home inspections are big.
Yeah.
So when you see a contract falls through, the first thing that you're going to probably read is contract fell through, buyer couldn't get financing, no fault of seller. and that's naturally going to say that, but you don't know if their financing fell through because of something on the home inspection.
Exactly.
Or, I was going FHA, but this house won't go FHA, whatever the case may be. So I think a lot of this is because people are going with with home inspections.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when the market's hot and you got 6 or 7 people bidding on your house, if I want that house, I'm going to waive my home inspection. I'm buying this house as is.
Right.
So that's a big reason, I believe, because when the house goes back on the market, so my whole point is we're in a different market for the sellers out there. You've got to look at your house and say, what is wrong with it that I can fix now? So now, if you're going to put your house on the market, is not a bad time as a seller to bring a home inspector in, have them do a home inspection, you fix what it is. So when somebody does come through, you have that confidence that everything is fixed. They're not going to find anything.
Exactly. Good point.
That's just
It's huge. Yeah, we're getting back into starting to have to be proactive. I was at a home last night in Rhodes Urbana, over $1 million home. And it's only 5 years old. So the good news is we didn't have to have a lot of that discussion. There was only one thing. It was like, hey, the bathroom, you got to paint. This one is pretty rough. The kids kind of like got to the walls and everything and the cabinetry and stuff like that. And you paint. And I just said to my client, I said, it's part of my service. I'll have my painter come in, touch it up, paint the whole thing, do whatever has to happen about 3 or 4 days before we get into the market. And then I'll give you other suggestions for staging and things. And so those are easy. But then you got the tough ones where you got a whole bunch of list of things to do you got to really pay attention to. So 39 homes are temporarily off the market, Terry. Those are the ones getting treatment right now of some sorts or whatever, or life's happening or whatever. But Terry, since it's summertime, I feel good. I feel like giving away a $50 gift card to like Sheets or whatever, since it is that time of the year. So instead of inventory, what we're going to do, like regular inventory, we're going to go ahead and see if the phone lines can come open and alive. 301-694-9363. The trivia to get a $50 Sheets gift card is this. How many short sale and foreclosures are on the market right now? I'm going to give everybody a big hint. It's between 5 and 20. We have between 5 and 20.
Nothing.
Right. Yeah. That's like, where are they all at? Right. We don't have a lot of distressed properties, but whoever can call in and tell us how many short sale foreclosure distressed properties are for sale in Frederick County right now, between 5 and 20. There's a number in between. It is. You get that dead on. I'm going to give you, Terry and I are going to give you a $50 gift card to Sheets and say, happy summer. 301-694-9363. So while we're waiting for somebody to call and take a stab at that, let's talk about lending world. Loans. What are people doing with these loans?
So a lot of people are taking a look at, what the market's doing. A lot of people are kind of getting back into the market because they're realizing that, hey, rates aren't going to come down anytime soon. And what's going on in the market is you basically had this week we had the Fed meet, and this was their 6-week meeting. And my prediction was that they were not going to raise rates this time, but they probably will at the next meeting, which will be late July, or the meeting after that, which will be, I think, early September. So what we're taking a look at is they held rates steady. Everything's calm in the market. Nothing is actually going crazy. But what they're taking a look at is they are looking at dropping the rates 2 times by the end of the year.
Yeah.
So I feel it's going to be once at the next meeting. And then I feel that they're going to hold off to like the last meeting of the year to drop rates again. They're waiting on so much information. The bottom line is that I've said this before. They don't want to get kicked in the back of the head and surprised by a recession, by a shrinking economy.
Right.
Okay. They're more worried about inflation. I think that they have to be more worried about the shrinking economy. And if they don't do that, then we're going to be in the similar situation that we were 3 years ago when they called this thing transitory inflation. And they said, oh, we're not going to do anything about rates because it's transitory inflation. And they got caught off guard. The same crew is running the ship now.
Yeah.
And I don't want them to get kicked in the back of the head again by not paying attention to the GDP, not paying attention to a shrinking economy, not getting us thrown into a recession where we are forced to cut rates at a very fast pace.
Right.
That's what's going on. I think things are going to be steady. Keep an eye on what's going on with Iran and Israel.
Ooh.
Obviously, the cost of oil is going to be fluctuating, going up. Oil going up is bad for us.
Yep.
Rate-wise, coming down is great for us. So keep a big eye on that. If we get involved in the conflict, we might see rates actually come down because we're going to see people very jittery and the stock market will probably take a hit. So, be proactive, stay ahead of the ball game, keep your eye on what's going on.
All right. We have Leslie on the line. All right. Leslie, are you there? Great. Good to hear from you. Where are you calling from? Walkersville. All righty. How many distressed properties, foreclosure, and short sales are active on the market in Frederick County right now? I can't believe it. You are the winner. That's it. Bingo. 12. Leslie, first caller in, says, I got me a $50 gift card to Sheets. How does it feel to be the summertime winner right now? All right. You must be paying attention to something. I don't know. Did you go into that Google chat or somewhere that I don't know about, or did you get into our MLS? I love it. Well, thanks so much for listening each and every week. And our producer is going to get all the information from you, and we are going to make sure we get that into your hands right away. And I'll talk to you afterwards. Okay.
But Leslie, before you get off the line, what numbers are popping in your head for the lotto tonight? Okay. All right. Well, call back if some pop in your head. All right.
All righty. There you go. Wow. There you go, Terry. Just like
Perfect.
that. As fast as can be. Leslie from Walkersville, who listens in, got it. There are 12 active homes for sale in Frederick County that are short sale, foreclosure, distressed properties, and all of our investors are out there are saying, Darren, send them to us. These are the fix and flips and the good deals and all that good stuff. And maybe Leslie will let us help her buy one of those, and you'll be in good shape. So
we haven't talked about short sales or foreclosures in months and months.
Right.
And a lot of it is it just didn't happen during the COVID era because people were protected. Also, homes were escalating in value. So for somebody to get a short sale or foreclosure, that's pretty. So there's only 12, but I just want to be very clear. A short sale is when you are underwater. Yeah. You still own the house and you are selling the house for less than you owe on it. So if you owe $500,000 and the sales price is $450,000, you have to get the bank approval to be a short sale.
Right.
A foreclosure is totally different. The bank is already done with you. You no longer own the home. The bank now owns the home, and that's a whole different scenario than a short sale. They're in the same grouping, but totally different dealings. So
yeah, good stuff. All right, what's going on with? I haven't seen this in forever. USDA loans. They're different loans. So tell everybody out there real quick, how many different loan types can a purchaser for a home get, and which are you seeing the most and not, and what's the changes? What's it like that right now, especially USDA loans?
Yeah. So in a hot market, and we just talked about a hot market, 4 or 5 people going in, people kind of get not brainwashed, but people just get very focused on conventional loans. Why? Because if you're getting a conventional loan, you need good credit. It has to be a good borrower. You can still get a low money down loan on a conventional loan. So when you're going against other people, when you're competing on a loan, your first option usually is going to be a conventional loan. That mentality is still there. Most of the loans that we see come in are conventional loans. Secondly, you have an FHA loan. FHA loan is somebody that usually has a credit score that is a little below 700 or 720, below 720, somebody that has a slightly challenged credit to a very challenged credit, okay? And what that means is that you can get a very low rate, but still have a credit, lower credit scores. That program usually takes second backseat to, a conventional loan when you have multiple offers. The third loan out there, we all know, is VA. I'm a huge advocate for veterans. I've said it a million times on here. My brother was a POW. Huge advocate for veterans. Most veterans can buy a house with a conventional loan. They just choose not to because they've earned the right to get a VA loan. It's the best program out there. Let's talk today about the forgotten program, USDA.
Yeah.
Okay, U.S. Department of Agriculture.
Yeah, they think it's a beefy loan. It's full of meat.
Yes, you don't have to be buying a farm. Okay?
Yeah, exactly.
You really don't have to be buying a farm. It is the rural housing program. And now people say, well, I don't want to be, way out in the country. Is Thurmont way out in the country? Is
Nope.
Walkersville way out in the country? Is Lake Linganore way out in the country? No,
Nope.
Those are all areas that fall outside of the, they fall within USDA guidelines.
Right.
Let's talk about USDA. And right now we're in a market where all loans are being looked at. All contracts are being looked at. All contracts are being negotiated. It's not like, put your best foot forward. So let's take a look at the USDA loan very quickly. You don't need to be a veteran. You don't need to be a first-time home buyer. You can be, buying your third house. Couple things. It has to be your only home. There are a couple instances where, so you can sell a house and then buy a new house with USDA. Why would somebody want to go with USDA? 100% financing.
Yep. No
Okay?
money down.
No money
It's
down.
like a VA loan.
100, just like a VA loan. What is the difference? You have mortgage insurance. You have a funding fee, which is only 1%. On
Okay.
an FHA comparable, it is basically a USDA is 1%. FHA is going to be 1.75%
Right.
funding fee that is added to the top of the loan. USDA, they have mortgage insurance, much like the FHA mortgage insurance premium. They have a mortgage insurance fee, and that's 0.35%. FHA's is 0.55%. What does that mean? That means that on a $400,000 loan, your 100% financing is going to cost you $116 a month in mortgage insurance. On an FHA loan, that same $400,000 is going to cost you $183 a month, but you're going to have to put 3.5% down to get that. So USDA is a fabulous program. You can have credit scores as low as 640
Yeah.
on a USDA. The ratios are going to be tighter. Okay.
Mhm.
The ratios are going to be tighter because you're getting at this tremendous loan. Less than 2% of the loans out there
Wow.
are USDA right now.
Right.
So this is a program that really needs to be looked at and really needs to be thought about. Why can't people go USDA? Is because their front ratio, that housing ratio, has to be 30% or below, or it's not going to be accepted through the underwriting engine called GUS, G-U-S, through USDA. So it's very important to not get all hyped up on this saying, well, Terry said I can get a USDA loan. There are two factors. One is you have to have ratios in line.
Right.
Number two is you have to have income limits. Usually income limits, like in Frederick County, you're going to be up to 153,000.
Yeah. Yeah. Unless you're making over 150,000, chances are you'll qualify.
Washington County, you're looking at around 130,
Yep.
just under 130. So, and if you add 4 people to the family or 2 people,
It's even higher.
it's even higher. So usually income is not the problem.
Right.
The problem that I usually run into with somebody with USDA is that front ratio, that housing payment
Yep.
divided into your gross income shouldn't be more than 30%.
Right.
Credit scores can be as low as 640. So think about that program. It's a great program,
Mhm.
and it is very underutilized.
What I love is you can sit with someone for free, no obligation, and you can run scenarios side by side with USDA and FHA loans, conventional, and you can show people every little aspect of the pros and cons so that they can see what is going to be the best loan type for them when they purchase.
Yes, and then the last thing that USDA looks at is it has to be in a geographical area.
Yeah, has to match. Yeah.
So if you take a circle of Frederick City Anything inside that circle
Gone. Doesn't qualify.
does not qualify. Anything outside of Frederick City is considered rural.
Yeah.
So
We still look
Middletown-
at it. Yeah.
So Middletown, Myersville,
Mm-hmm.
all the way up to Hagerstown. Draw that same circle in Hagerstown. Anything outside of the city,
Downtown, right?
anything outside downtown, you're going to be good for USDA. So
Yeah,
think
we
about
always
that
double
program.
check them. Yeah, you got to call us, and Terry and I, we can double check in the program to see if it qualifies the property and it's in that area. So good stuff. All right, Terry, here's the big subject of our program that we're going to get into. Get ready. When the market is shifting and changing a little bit, and we keep seeing it more and more and more, what are the biggest factors that also change? The biggest question I get all the time from sellers more than ever is, what is my house worth? Do you remember that guy named Eminem, that Slim Shady, will you please stand up guy?
Yes, I do.
Well, I wanted to name this one, will the real value of my home please stand up? Because right now, we don't know if it's AI. We don't know if it's Slim Shady. We don't know who it is. What is going on with the values? Okay. So the reason why I want to talk about this is because this is the big mystery at times. I was at the listing last night and we're seeing Zillow, Realtor.com, Redfin, Remax, and all these third-party vendor sites. And then you see the comps and the data and all the different conditions of the properties and the descriptions and all of it. And all of a sudden, it could be $100,000 differential in price. So which is correct? Well, we already know buyers are going to choose one thing, whatever's the lowest out of all the things, and the sellers are going to pick the highest. And what's that gap? That's where you have me to come into it. So the value of your home is worth, ready? Here's the thing I love to speak the most on this one. I tell sellers the value of your house and property is worth exactly what a buyer is willing to pay for it right now at this very moment in time in the market.
Makes sense.
That's it. That's the value of your house.
That's the value.
Yeah. So there's 6 different things very unique that
we go
through.
farther.
Yeah, right. There it is. And of course, that raised the question of like, well, what is that? The thing I told my my seller last night is that as real estate agents, we're not appraisers. We are not, it's out of our scope in ethics and the whole nine yards to be able to do 2 things. Number one, give you an exact number. That is not our job. Our job is to go through the data, be very up to date and very acknowledgeable with the data. And from a lot of aspects that I do, 6 different things I look at, takes me about an hour for the most part, at least, sometimes longer. And what our job is to give you a range of value that makes sense with all the data and all things giving, okay? The second big thing to all of this is that we are unethically, if there is an agent that you meet with and they're just quote unquote shopping the listing, they just want to do whatever, they're going to tell you the highest price, whatever it takes to be higher than every other person that you're interviewing, talking with, or whatever, to make you feel good and excited that you're going to get something that's probably never going to happen. That's called shopping the listing. And by the way, that is unethically wrong to do. It's called misleading and misguiding a seller. And so that's something I've told people, we're not going to tell you what you want to hear. It's going to be what you need to hear, what's the truth, the facts, and we're going to go through and show you what that is. And then at the end of the day, you get to choose what's going to work best for you. And what I do is I strategically show 3 different strategies, and the one that you choose typically is going to get you the most money, best terms and conditions, and all those good things like that. So the thing is with values, yesterday I showed 90 days. That's what typically, right? The appraiser, like the valuations, the underwriters want to see properties in the same community and what is sold in the last 90 days. So sometimes not yesterday, not tomorrow. It's like the sun. It's always moving. Values do not stay the same, although we've been more flat than we've seen in a very, very long time. Here's the thing that people don't like to hear, Terry, but this is the truth. And we're going to end the program on these 7 things. Ready? It doesn't matter what you think your home is worth. Ain't being mean here. We're just being honest. It doesn't matter what you think your home is worth. The sellers are a little too emotional at times, and that begins to get all wrapped up. And it's yours. You should. It's normal that you think it's worth more than everybody's on the block. That's typical. You've lived in your home. You've loved on it. It's home sweet home. But it's like another child to you. But at the end of the day, it's going to be a product for sale, and it's going to be sitting on the shelf at the Nordstrom's home sale. And it's going to be in the reality check of all that, the pay attention to what others on the shelf are selling for and what customers are picking up and taking to the counter to check out. So that's the big one. And I know that's heartbreaking, but your home is not what you think it's usually worth. I heard one time somebody say, knock 10% off. So, all right, second one is, it doesn't matter what your family members think it's worth. It doesn't matter what your neighbor thinks it's worth or sold 4 months ago, because that was months ago and it's gone maybe. That is gone. It doesn't matter what your dog thinks it's worth or anybody else, and it doesn't matter what Zillow and the Zestimates think either. So next week, we're going to pick it up and open up more Pandora's box with values and what you can do as a seller to make sure you win in this game. Hey guys, take care. Happy selling and buying. Stay nice and cool and have a great weekend from your Frederick Real Estate Update and WFND. Take care now.
Hi there.
All right. Thank you guys so much for tuning in each and every week. We will see you very, very soon.